Cheese. And welcome back to That's Some Cheese, part of the Vendetta Sports Podcast Network. Today is Thursday, June 20th. The NBA draft is today. But first, we have a little bit of a special guest. Introducing Zach Black. Not only is he on the phone with me right now, but he's also going to be joining Vendetta Sports. So I want to introduce the newest member of the team. Zach, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the website. It's good to have you. What's going on?
Not much. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to this.
I'm glad we could find you. We actually found you on YouTube during my Red Sox series. I didn't know what to expect when I started the series, but glad we were able to find somebody. I'm excited to have you on board. We Skyped, 2 days ago, the other day. You're a really smart guy. I was impressed by your little sample article that you sent me. So I'm really excited to have you on. Let's introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what the people should know, what the people should expect, what the fans should know about what you're going to bring to the website, and what kind of sports you're interested in.
Well, I'm pretty much a Massachusetts native. I've lived here my entire life, so expect a little homerism from the Boston side. It won't be too crazy, though. I'm interested in pretty much the big four sports here: baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. What I can bring to the table, sports knowledge and humor. I will try and bring humor into what I'm writing, because sometimes it's just good to laugh, even if you're learning something.
Yeah, so I started this website because I'm convinced that there are thousands of smart sports people that never get an opportunity, while trying to expose the people that do get opportunities and shouldn't. So I think you're going to be a great fit. Glad to have another Boston guy on board, and we're going to try to keep this Boston-centric here, so it's an easy transition. First thing, the NBA draft is today. Big day for the Celtics. But I first wanted to get into Danny Ainge. So it looks like Al Horford's going to leave. It looks like Kyrie Irving's going to leave. And a lot of people are sitting here today freaking out and blaming Danny Ainge. My question is, why are people blaming Danny Ainge today? I want people to honestly sit there and look themselves in the mirror and say to themselves, which move was a mistake? Was signing Al Horford a mistake? No. Was trading Markelle Fultz for Jason Tatum and another draft pick a mistake? No. Was drafting Jaylen Brown a mistake? No. Was drafting Marcus Smart a mistake? No. Was trading for Kyrie Irving a mistake? The alternate universe where they pay Isaiah Thomas is way worse. I promise that. Was signing Hayward a mistake? I mean, did anyone honestly believe that he was... Yeah, hindsight, maybe. But it's hard to predict the guy's going to break his leg. Show me the mistake. Show me the thought process that didn't make any sense, because I'm not finding one.
For those who think he made a mistake, the only mistake was not going for after AD. But, alright, say they do go after AD, and Kyrie leaves, and Al leaves. Well, actually, no, Al would probably be involved in the trade. So then, Kyrie leaves. AD eventually leaves, because he wants to go to LA. So, you know what? He's in LA now, so be it. But Kyrie goes, AD goes. We are stuck with a injured Hayward, and no Tatum and no Brown. In that universe, I will say, that's a mistake. For those who don't understand what's going on right now, I don't get it. Going all in this year didn't make any sense anyways, because had the Warriors stayed healthy, they were winning. And you can't predict that injury to KD. You just can't. Can't predict what happened to Clay. So, hindsight being 2020, I'm just glad we did what we did. Pretty simple.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, people are sitting here blaming Danny Ainge today. I want to know the mistake that he made. Because signing Al Horford, drafting Jason Tatum, drafting Jaylen Brown, drafting Marcus Smart, paying Marcus Smart, trading for Kyrie Irving, signing Gordon Hayward, all of those things should have worked. Or the process where he thought, yes, this is the right decision, was the right decision. It just didn't work, and that's not Danny Ainge's fault.
You're definitely right there.
Yeah, simple enough. All right, let's move on to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Now that it looks like Horford's leaving, now that it looks like Irving's leaving, what should the Celtics do to retool this roster? What are your ideas? Do you have any things that make sense?
I got two moves
okay.
They got to make.
Let's hear it.
Trade up to the 4th pick.
Ooh, okay.
You take Darius Garland, and then on the 14th pick, you draft a guy named Bol Bol. That's what you do. You do that, you're fine.
See, I don't know anything about Garland. He played 5 games at Vanderbilt. I never got to see him play, so I have no idea if he's good or not. But point guard is definitely an issue, and I don't want to see Terry Rozier near this team at all next year.
Yeah, I would rather not keep the shot chucker on the team.
That's unbelievable how he said, "Oh, I sacrificed so much," and then he ranks second on the team in shot attempts, and all he does is jack up horrible shots.
He legitimately had a decent second half of the season and had a playoff series. Are you willing to pay is someone really willing to pay him $16 million for that?
I wouldn't pay him 5. I want him out of town.
Somebody's going to pay him.
I hope it's not Boston.
It better not be Boston. Come on. I believe Garland already right now is the better player, and he hasn't played a minute in the NBA.
So I have a couple ideas before I jump into the NBA. One, if Kyrie Irving is going to sign with the Nets, D'Angelo Russell's a restricted free agent. Would it be the craziest idea in the world to sign D'Angelo Russell? Now, I don't know what it would cost, but I doubt the Nets would match it.
Well, they can't match it.
That's my point. So, would signing D'Angelo Russell really be the worst idea in the world? He took the Nets to the playoffs. He's younger than Irving. He kind of fits the timeline with Brown and Tatum. Having that little core, I think it makes sense. What do you think?
Well, issue offensively, he's less gifted.
Yes.
Has a tendency to go cold in the games. But with the right coaching, I think he's a adequate replacement. And he stays healthier.
Very true.
I'm less concerned about his knees than I am Kyrie's.
Another idea I had, and I don't know how feasible this one is either. It looks like Horford wants to leave. The Oklahoma City Thunder are desperate right now. They are in no man's land, and it looks like they want to clear some salary. How about a sign-and trade where Horford gets his money long term? We take on Steven Adams, but Oklahoma City also forks over future draft picks.
What future draft picks?
Whatever future draft picks OKC could offer. Because obviously Horford's the better player, but Oklahoma City could never sign Horford without dumping Adams. And Adams' contract isn't very good, but I would love to have a future OKC unprotected pick, because I think in like 3 years that team could be horrible.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I think that one could work. The other two, these are kind of free agent signings because they'll have some cap space. Danny Green, I like. Pat Beverly, I like. And I wouldn't mind seeing Seth Curry get a big minutes. He's shown in the playoffs he can really play.
Yes. But will it be consistent enough, or is it just a playoff run?
Yeah, but those would be sort of the things I was thinking. We can jump to the NBA draft now. You did mention Bol Bol. That's the guy I want Boston to take at 14. At 14, the NBA draft has shown it's a dart throw. How many guys have really panned out at 14? In my opinion, you got to take the highest guy with the highest ceiling. Bol Bol, 7'3", 7'7" wingspan. He handles the ball like a guard. He shoots the ball lights out. So what? His downsides are he has a foot injury and he's not tough enough. Well, he's 19. He can't gain some weight. If a foot injury is really the reason why he's slipping this far in the draft, this is a no-brainer decision in my opinion.
They also say he's not active enough on the defensive end, but I feel like with the right coaching, that'll be fixed.
If that's the worry, Brad Stevens can figure that out. The other guy I'm thinking of, and I don't know if they'll keep both first-round picks, but I would love to see Admiral Schofield in a Celtics uniform. I think he just kind of fits what they do. He's nasty, he's tough, he's strong. He kind of reminds me of, like, if Semi Ojeleye would have panned out. That's got to be your hope. I think he's worth a gamble, too.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen much of the Schofield guys, so I can't really comment on that, but I feel like Bol Bol is the perfect pick.
Are there any other... Go ahead.
I was going to say, he just fits with he replaces Horford offensively. I think better. And given time, he's going to be better defensively.
And he can actually rebound the ball, which Horford could never do.
Never do consistently enough. Only thing you lose have a little bit on his passing. Because I don't think he's a playmaker.
All right, so that will do our NBA segment. Make sure to follow Zach on Twitter. Zach, where can we find you again? What's the Twitter handle?
All right, let me pull up my Twitter handle here. Didn't have my Twitter handle pulled up.
In the meantime, I'm your host, Trey Dalbert. Follow me on Twitter at Trey Dalbert. Make sure to follow the website, media_Vendetta. Check out the YouTube page, Vendetta Media. Having some good Red Sox videos on there. So if you're a Red Sox fan, check those out. And we'll get Zach some followers here. He's new. He needs some followers. Get after him.
Yeah.
New guy with the site. Go ahead.
My Twitter handle is the most basic Twitter handle ever, Zach, BLA643980043.
All right.
Definitely going to get changed eventually.
Yeah, repeat that one more time so the people can get after it.
Zach, ZACH, BLA64398043.
All right. We need to get Zach some followers, so make sure to do that too. Let's jump to the Sox. I'm a fanatic when it comes to the Sox. I watch them pretty much every single night. One thing I did want to talk about that's really bothering me, Xander Bogaerts is the best shortstop in baseball, and he's also the most disrespected shortstop in baseball. I do not understand, for the life of me, how he could possibly be 6th in the American League All-Star voting at shortstops. Xander Bogaerts is 5th, according to Fangraphs, in WAR among all players, regardless of position. But he's 6th among shortstops in voting. Since 2015, Bogaerts leads all shortstops in average, hits, RBIs, doubles, and runs. The disrespect that this guy gets is unbelievable. What are your thoughts on Bogaerts, and why is no one paying attention to what he's doing?
Because he's not the best player on his team. That's, if we're being honest with ourselves. Most average baseball fans don't care unless you're the best player on your team.
I'm going to counter this. Are we sure he's not the best player on the team? Are we positive he's not the best player on the team?
In the media's eyes, no.
How about in the normal fan's eyes that watches every single day? Are we sure he's not the best player on the team? Because I'm not convinced that you can't make that argument.
You could make the argument, but what Mookie does when hitting the leadoff spot is uncompared.
I'm definitely not arguing that. But my point is what Xander Bogaerts is doing is unbelievable, and Alex Cora deserves a lot of credit. He changed Bogaerts' whole approach at the plate. He said, "You're done hitting 330. We want 300 and damage." And that's exactly what Bogaerts has done, except he's probably exceeded what Alex Cora even wanted him to do because he's hitting for an higher average and driving in more runs. I think what he's doing is incredible, and he deserves more love, and I think it's ridiculous that people are not voting for him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. What he reminds me of just actually there's no one he reminds me of because since I've been watching the Red Sox, we haven't had a shortstop this good.
That's actually a great point. Who does he remind you of? Because he's one of those rare players that he always finds a way to make contact. Like, there's other shortstops, and they put up numbers, and they do this and that, but this guy rarely ever strikes out. He gets on base a lot. He drives in runs. I don't think there's anybody really like him.
No, there really isn't, and he's the best two-strike hitter in baseball. The best one.
I don't think there's any argument there. He rarely strikes out. He's on base all the time. He makes good contact. I don't get it. The next thing I wanted to talk about, this bullpen. Now, they've actually done an okay job. Better job than I probably would have thought. But at some point, they got to start doing something here because I can't watch another game where Josh Smith is pitching in the 9th inning with a 1-run lead. I can't do it anymore. Or where Colton Brewer is pitching in the 8th inning with a 1-run lead. Those games can't happen anymore. You're just asking to lose. So I want to know, is there a bullpen target that you like? What do you think the Sox should do there?
Well, the Sox right now should get a time machine, rewind time, and just pay Craig Kimbrell. Because that's what they should have done to begin with.
That's probably the easiest thing to do, and not pay Steve Pearce and probably move the money around or find a taker for Rusney Castillo's contract and just get it done.
Yeah. Cheaper option, the easier options. You know, you could always call up the Pirates. They got an arm.
I've been on this for so long. Felipe Vasquez makes so much sense. They don't have a lefty out of the pen. He throws hard. He has 3 years of straight awesome production. He's cheap and controllable. He'll be on the roster until 2024, and he never makes more than $10 million in a year. What more could you ask? This makes too much sense not to happen.
Well, I thought paying the closer that, got you the World Series made sense to me too, but shit, just a clip. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
If I tried predicting the Red Sox, everything, I might just, lose my mind.
Any other ideas to improve the team? I think Eduardo Nunez, his spot could be upgraded. First base is a place that could be upgraded. I don't know if they'll do those things, but if there was something that you would like to see the Red Sox do, what would it be?
Trade for either Justin Bour or Smoke.
So you would be all in for a power-hitting first baseman?
Yeah, because, Pierce isn't cutting it, and Moreland can't always hit lefties, or really doesn't hit lefties.
So then what would happen with Michael Chavis? Because he's had his moments. He hits his home runs. He strikes out way too much. He's still young. He's played decent defensively. What would you do with him then?
So I think now you go to the National League and you call up the Mets. And because they're the Mets, you can complete the following trade. Rick Porcello, Michael Chavis. You might be able to pick up, just because of that, Syndergaard and McNeil, because the Mets are stupid. No offense, Mets fans, your front office is just bad at what they do.
I would be... I think, let's say the Mets would turn that down. What about if you swapped Syndergaard for Wheeler? I would still do it.
Yeah, no, I would still do it.
I think that's a great idea. Jeff McNeil is a guy I love. He's going to hit 330 for 10 years in a row. He went 2 for 4 again today. He gets on base all the time. Chavis, he'll hit his home runs. He's striking out way too much, and you bring up a good point. I don't think it's a crazy idea to move him in the right trade. I really don't. I would think about it.
I feel like he might actually. The reason why I said Syndergaard is because the buzz on him is so high right now. Because how hard he hits the ball. Porcello hasn't pitched bad enough that it's out of the realm of possibilities. The Mets are so mediocre, I don't think it's going to matter. They might as well just get another asset. Get to throw in another prospect with them. Throw in a prospect. What are you going to do?
The only reason I think the Mets could turn that down is because Syndergaard has 3 years of control. Porcello's a free agent after the season. That's why I think a guy like Wheeler would be more sense, because Wheeler's also a free agent after the year. But I agree. If there's a chance to get Jeff McNeil, sign me up.
Yeah.
All right, so then let's move on to the NFL then real quick. Don't want to keep you too long. It's late. One of the things you wanted to talk about, Dak Prescott, he's in a contract year. His agent wants $34 million a year. What do you do?
Well, you're gonna have. I think you can negotiate it down to $28 million, and if you can get $28 million for 6 years, you take that deal. And I tell you why. Because Carson Wentz is made out of wet tissue paper. I don't know what the Giants have for a QB right now. Daniel Jones, I don't know what he is. The Redskins have a quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, but they have nothing else. You can consistently win your division, and you can make that playoff run. You may be able to make a Super Bowl run, but you need to pay your quarterback.
Let me argue this point. Would it be the craziest idea in the world to let Dak Prescott walk out the door, not pay him, and just say, you know what? We're paying Zeke Elliott. We're paying Amari Cooper. We're paying both our linebackers. At Van Der Esch. We're not letting Jalen Smith walk out the door. We're paying Byron Jones. We're paying DeMarcus Lawrence. We're paying the offensive line. We're keeping everybody else. I can find another quarterback like Dak Prescott on a rookie contract that can replicate his production. Is that the craziest idea in the world?
See, I thought that for a while too. But when we're talking about this, we're not taking into consideration the leadership as well.
But isn't that the thing, though? I like all of the things that Dak Prescott does off the field. I don't necessarily love the things that he does on the field. He's never thrown for 25 touchdowns in a year. He's never thrown for 4,000 yards in a year. He's in an offense where he has one of the best offensive lines in football, the best running back in football. He now has an elite wide receiver. And what has he really given you statistically? They win a lot of games because their team is loaded. Why can't they find another quarterback that can do what he does statistically? So what if you need it? Can you find leadership in other places? You're telling me the linebackers can't be good leaders? I mean,
on the offensive side of the ball?
I know that Zeke Elliott's an idiot, but why can't they find another quarterback that can do what he does on a rookie contract again?
Because he already won. All right, let's just talk, just basic leadership, right? He already has the entire locker room around him. And we're not going to act like in the big games, he's choking. He's the reason why they're losing these playoff games. You know who has the most first 3 years, most fourth quarter comebacks? Dak Prescott. He outdueled Aaron Rodgers in that playoff game that they lost. Outdueled Jared Goff in the playoff game in which they lost. Outdueled Russell Wilson. To win his playoff win, You have dual Russell Wilson, a former Super Bowl champ. I have dual Aaron Rodgers, a former MVP and a Super Bowl champ. And I would dual Jared Goff, who had a team that, made it to the Super Bowl. If they had actually scored some points, maybe they would have won the Super Bowl. We're not going to act like that doesn't mean anything. If had Sean Lee made a tackle, I think they face the Saints.
I definitely think there's something to what you're saying. I like his leadership. I think the guy finds a way to win. He found a way to win at Mississippi State. He had Mississippi State as the number 1 team in the country. I don't think that's by accident. But I do think paying a guy like him, not his personality, but paying a guy that puts up his kind of numbers, big time money, you can't make a Kirk Cousins mistake. You can't make a Blake Bortles mistake. You can't be stuck paying an average quarterback big money because he needs the pieces around him. And he's winning right now because he needs the pieces around him. If paying him means losing Ezekiel Elliott, means losing Amari Cooper, means losing members on that defense, that's something I can't do.
Well, I don't think you actually lose any of them. Because when you complete this, you have to realize the cap's going to inflate again in 3 years. So that $28 million isn't going to look anywhere as bad as it does right now. In that time, you'll be able to still afford to pay Amari and Zeke. Zeke won't get as much because of his prior past. He's going to have to take a discount because he will have no choice.
It's definitely a fascinating thing to watch. One last thing before I let you go. You wanted to talk about N'Keal Harry, the Patriots' first-round pick. Picked him out of Arizona State. What kind of impact do you think he can have? Because all of a sudden, this Patriots offense, no Gronk. The weapons, a little bit unproven outside of Julian Edelman. Give me your thoughts on what Harry's going to provide here in his rookie season.
First of all, I just want to say this offense got better.
Interesting. Let's hear it.
You lost Gronk, but you brought in Ben Watson. And Gronk was barely playing anyway, so it's not like that's much of a loss. Josh Gordon, still in the tenure, so he may face suspension, but we might be able to get him back. You have Demaryius Thomas, not what he used to be, but still solid. Does he replace Chris Hogan? I think so. Now you have N'Keal Harry, who last year, for the regular season, would have been better than Edelman. Because Edelman did not play well in the regular season last year. He is fast, he is big, he is strong. He can give Brady a 50-50 target, and one who will actually come down with the catches, unlike, Brandon Cooks. So, this is something Brady hasn't had since 2007? 2008? The tenure of Randy Moss. I think we can expect 700 yards-ish and 7 touchdowns. Solid rookie year. I think he's going to move his way up to be Brady's favorite target. He's just great. I mean, I saw him play in Arizona State, and they don't have a Tom Brady as for their quarterback. He was just making plays up there, man.
Harry's definitely a guy I like. I'm not 100% sold on him. I like his hands. I think he's more athletic than he plays. I don't love his pure speed. Not a huge separation guy, but Brady's found a way to work with those in the past. I think your best hope is that he's Anquan Bolden. Do you think that's doable? Is that a fair comp? I think that's kind of your hope right here.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the comparison there. Anquan Bolden, still, compare that to what Brady had last year.
It's definitely an interesting thing to look at. I personally, just off the top of my head, this offense, I don't know. But you know what? It could be better than last year. There's no doubt about it. I think Damian Harris, too, he's going to play a bigger role than people think. Sony Michel's knees, not not something that is 100% certain. Harris could play a big role. I think he could be a touchdown guy for them. So I think it's fair to say that the offense could be better.
Yeah. I like what they did on the defensive side of the ball, too. Bringing back someone like Jamie Collins, getting a Michael Bennett, Chase Winovich, adding them on offense. I mean, not offense, on defense. I feel like the defense is going to be good and their offense is going to be good. I don't know if anyone can stop them from going back to the Super Bowl.
One thing about the Patriots, you just never count them out. just the way it's always been. Probably the way it'll continue to be. All right, Zach, it's getting late. I'll let you go. Thank you for coming on the show. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. We'll link it in the article in the podcast. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.